What is up, traders? Today is Sunday, which means it's time for the Forex Weekly Outlook, and that's awesome. Forex is my favorite thing to trade, and I love it when the market opens up. We're going to take a look at these pairs that I have over here on the watch list for this week of December 27th, 2020 through December 31st. Being the first is going to be New Year's Day, and the market will be closed again for that day. So it's going to be another short week. And with all that said, let's dive in. What's up, everybody? My name is Heath, and this is Trade Talk. So we're going to start with the EURUSD like we always do, because the EURUSD is inverse of the dollar, meaning if the US dollar is going down, this thing is going to be going up. It is heavily weighted into the dollar, 52% or somewhere along those lines. So it is almost 100% inversely correlated. Not quite, but almost. So this is going to be basically, when I look at this pair, I'm looking at the dollar as well. So I'm not going to have the dollar on here today. As there's no reason for it. We know where it's going down. So right, here we go. I got this market structure taken from this massive down closing daily bearish candle on the Euro USD. That candle is from December the 22nd. So basically we need to break out of that. As long as we're trading inside of that candle, we're in a range. So that candle's top end of the range, or that range, that daily range, is going to be 1.22443. That's the top side of the range. The bottom side of the range, delineated by this white line here, is at 1.21630. Now, this is your last market structure, 8-hour market structure, before we had this big bearish candle put in. That's the last up closing candle. Therefore, we take our market structures from those levels, and you can see we traded up into it and tested and rejected. Now, this is by no means a short signal. As I said, we wait to see what's going to happen here, because as it's inside of this range and in dead smack in the middle of it, we don't take trades in that. That's how you get chopped up. We get destroyed. So we're going to look for an 8-hour closure above 1.22186 or an 8-hour closure below 1.21630. Once we get those closures, we can then look to find direction in this market. Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen had a nice strong move last week, pushed up out of all of this. Let me go into the daily real quick just to show you. I captured this daily down closing candle here, and that's where I took those white lines from, okay? Just the top of that candle and then the close of that candle. So if we go back into an 8-hour, you can see here that we basically set this right here and then traded away. A nice strong trade away. We got an 8-hour closure above this 8-hour market structure here, which is also the top end of that daily range. Now I have just put this market structure in here on this last up closing green candle at 78.743. We did close an 8-hour candle above that. We did retest down lower and close back above. So going into today, what am I looking for when the market opens? Well, I want to see another candle closure above there. And if we get that, I'm going to have to go into a weekly time frame to see if we can find any relevant market structures, and there aren't any. Okay, so this is going to be a play it by ear and let it make its own market structures. If it continues to go up, then we can look to trade it. If we start closing 8-hour candles back below 78.743, which is this gray area here, we will look for a test of 78.395, which is the top of this range again. Now, this top of this range was tested on this candle here. Let me get this here. As you can see, this candle, when we broke out and we closed above, we came back in, tested this market structure to confirm, and traded away. So if we close an 8-hour candle below 78.743, which is this line right here, we will look for a test of that area again at 78.395. Why? Well, because if if you're closing 8-hour candles back below the upper side of this market structure, you're in price discovery. And when price discovery is going on, we have to wait for those areas to be retested and then show us on smaller time frames which direction it wants to head. Pound dollar. Apologize for the internet taking so long to click over. I had to buy a new computer today because my computer took a dump, and I'm still using it right now because I'm setting the other computer up, but I'm downloading massive files, and my internet bandwidth is so terrible here at my house, it literally destroys it by downloading huge files. So that's why the charts are taking forever to load. Moving on. Pound dollar. Let's go get this real quick, show you what I did on this. Maybe, possibly. There we go. All right, so basically daily down closing candle. We closed back above it on a daily closing basis 2 times. So 2 days we have closed up out of this area. Indicates strength. Go back down to a smaller time frame. We breached above and closed above this market structure here. And currently we have tested and failed to close above that market structure there. That is one spot 35,921 right here. So going forward, what am I looking for? I want to see a test back lower. I would love to get a test back down here to one spot 34627. A trade down below and a close back above would indicate a possible chance of running back up higher to get the buyers back involved in this market. Buyers are probably, it just depends on how aggressive the buyers are, and it depends on what happens this weekend, or what happened this weekend with any Brexit news. I haven't looked into any news or anything like that because I don't follow news. I don't care what the news does. I'm a firm believer in the news is just going to help push price action in the direction it was already going to go. It just uses it as a catalyst, so to speak. So we watch where these price bars open and close, and that gives us our trading decisions. So currently right now, we need to test this one spot 34627 area, or if it's extremely bullish, you could possibly look for a test and hold if it's extremely bullish in the middle of the range at one spot 35066, which is this line here, taken from this last down closing bearish candle on an hourly basis. So if you get a test down there on an hourly candle and you keep closing hourly candles back above that area, might be a good spot to look long. Might be a good spot to look long and to target one spot 36144. I would actually rather target this high here because it is the highest high, and there are orders up here. You have buy orders resting right above this one spot 36196 area. So if we move up to take those orders out, that's where I will look to enter. However, this will probably happen in the middle of the night while I'm asleep, so we'll see what happens. If we close hourly candles below one spot 35066, I look for this 8-hour market structure to come back into play, and I will show you that again as soon as the chart loads up. Right here. This is that hourly market structure. This is your 8-hour market structure. So this is going to be the more relevant area to test and hold. If we do not hold there, the next level to look for a test of is going to be one spot 332621. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. All right, so we looked like we were going to have some bearishness. We did have some bearishness, I'm going to say. And then we traded back down, retested this market structure area here, and see ya. Right up out of there. That means the buyers are aggressive down in that area. So we have broke above this market structure here with several closes. We did not test this level yet. Moving forward on the week, the 73 spot 386 area, this line here is going to be in play for me. If the market trades back down to that area, I will be watching it like a hawk to see if we're closing candles above that on at least an hourly basis. If we get that, I will look to get long this market, targeting this upper market structure here, and then ultimately this high right here at 74 spot 044. Okay, there is good risk reward there in my opinion. You start closing hourly candles below 73.386, probably heading lower to test this area right here at 73.084 right there. S&P 500. S&P 500. So we're trading in a range. Let me go over here. This thing is just taking for absolute ever to load up these charts. So these are 8-hour market structures. This daily candle was nasty, as you can see with that massive wick. So we were closing 8-hour candles below that, but now we're trading back up into the range of this big bearish candle here. This was the last market structure, and at the end of the day, Friday or Thursday, we did get a close above. So what are we going to be looking for moving forward? Well, we're going to look on a smaller time frame chart to see if hourly candles can stay closing above that area, or even up here. You can even watch up there. I will leave this area here as it is the most relevant because it is off of an 8-hour chart. If we're closing hourly candles above there, we're probably going to move higher to test this area at 3711.30. So going back into an 8-hour chart, here is your level to watch, 3701.40. You close an 8-hour candle back below that area or below the open of this last up closing candle. So for instance, if you close a bearish candle lower than the open of this candle, the area I would look to be tested again would be 3683.40. 3683.40. If you hold there, if you hold support with closing candles, then you can look for another retest of 3701.40. However, if we keep remaining closing 8-hour candles above that area, your next market structure to watch for a test is 3729.10. This area here. USDCAD. So USDCAD found some buyers and we came up out of this area. Now, we did close above these market structure here, but this market structure here, we failed to close above. So going forward into the week, if it's going to have bullishness, it needs to close above 1.29180. 1.29180, this line right here. So this could be a retest, and then you had a strong bullish close back above the market structure that we broke below here. So you broke below it, traded below it, and then broke back above, closed above. So I'm looking for this area to be tested at 1.29180 eventually. Now, if we close an 8-hour candle back below 1.28582, the next area to look for is going to be, well, obviously the low of this candle, but I'll have to go into a smaller time frame chart to find any areas in there. So I would be looking for this bearish candle to be tested again right there. And that level is going to be 1.27607. So that's that's pretty good for this short week. You close 8-hour candles below that area, and you're just going right back to the lows. You see what I mean? So basically, if you look at this chart, if you're a newer trader and you look at this chart, what you can see is this is a downtrend. Boop. Every time price popped up with green bullish candles, it was met with intense selling, and we went down lower. So this whole structure here, this whole market structure high, could simply be an area where sellers got back involved in this market. Now, this thing is overextended to the downside, but so is the dollar. But they can keep going. They can keep going. It could keep going. I don't care how extended it is. It can keep going. So basically, for the bearish case, we need to get 8-hour candles closing back below 1.28582. For the bullish case, as long as you're closing 8-hour candles above that, you could just go find all your market structure areas from these last up closing candles in the downtrend. Silver broke out above this trend line last week, and had a strong breakout. Okay, now we have went back lower, and we are currently closing 8-hour candles below this market structure here, which isn't the most beautiful thing in the world if you're bullish on this. So what we have to wait for is if we can't close back above 25.807, you're going to look for this area to be tested again at 25.187. As long as you hold support there, you can look for re-entry long positions back up to test this area again and then higher at 26.174. But this is going to be the line in the sand, 25.807 right here. If you're not able to close 8-hour candles above that, testing lower. And then ultimately, if you close an 8-hour candle below 25.187, you could possibly look for this trend line to come back into play. Gold. So gold had made this market structure here and traded back away, but we did have a nice strong push on Thursday, and that is a close above. That is a close above. So this market structure here is 1878.80, 880, and you did get a closure above there. So it's going to be up to the bulls to hold that area. You get a close back below. Your first area that's going to come into play for a support hold is going to be 1873.948. You lose that area, you're coming all the way back down here to test 1860.254. You don't want to see any closures below that if you're bullish. If you get closures below that, you're heading lower. As long as you're closing 8-hour candles above 1878.88, you can look for this area all the way up here to come into play at 1902.85. NASDAQ. NASDAQ is weak, or it's not weak, obviously. It's a big, strong uptrend, and it's having trouble closing above these areas here. Okay, so this is going to be your relevant market structure area near term to get a close above, and that's 12,750.00. But we are currently closing 8 hours below that. So the next area that I'm going to look for a test again is going to be, which that's still holding an area. This is still holding as resistance because nothing's closed below there yet. But you do have another down closing candle right here. So that is going to be the more relevant area. So a close, you want to see, if you come back down in here and you test this, you want to see wicks below, but you want to see closes above. And that is 12,655.75. 12,655.75. You get 8-hour closure below that. You're probably coming down here to test 12,582.50, which is this line here. IWN, this thing is strong. It is bullish as AF. It is bullish. There's nothing to do here. We need a test of this area at 191.96 to possibly look for long entries again. There's nothing in there. I mean, I can go into an hourly chart, but this is the IWM, so there are gaps. But we can look for, so any of these areas you want to see. So near term, for the near term scalp trader, you want to see a support test and hold of 197.23 on an hour closing basis. As long as you get that, you could look for higher plays. You get an hour closure below 197.23. Your next area to look for a support test is going to be 195.32. 195.32. You get a test of this area and a hold. You can look for bullish entries, possibly targeting all-time highs, 199.96. EURUSD, I have this on the chart because I took a trade on it last week. It was a nice trade. I took it Thursday, and we're closing market structures back below this area, which that was the trade that I took. So currently moving forward, if we get another push up into 1.71756, which is this line here, I will look for failures. If we close 8-hour candles above there, or even hourly candles above there, then it's possibly going up higher. And your next 8-hour market structure to test is this area here at 1.72738. So that offers up a nice bullish target if we're closing 8-hour candles back above 1.71756. As long as we're closing 8-hour candles below that area, my next target to look for is 1.70993, and then ultimately this low here. Wait, I take that back. I don't know why that was over there. It's that this is the area where I'll be looking, 1.71026, and then ultimately this low. This is the lowest low since we traded down into it and left. There's a ton of liquidity up underneath this low. The looks of this market structure looks like it's targeting this low. So the trade idea on EURNZD is to look for failure below 1.7156656. Sorry, one more time, 1.71756. Ultimately look for this low to come into play. That's at 1.70637. Pound yen. Pound yen had a strong close above this market structure over here, and we tested it and closed above it again. Okay, so moving on this week, if we're closing 8-hour candles above that, you're going to be targeting higher. And there's really nothing. Oh, I guess over here we got this stuff. So let's see, what does that look like? I don't like it, so let's go to here. Don't really like that one either, so I'll use the body of that down closing candle. I would much rather use a bullish up closing candle, but there's not one there. So let's just put it there. Let's use that as the next relevant market structure high. So for closing 8-hour candles above 140 spot 452, look for 141 spot 780. You get an 8-hour closure back below 140 spot 452, you can look for this area here at 139 spot 087 to come into play. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I looked at all the other pairs that I have on the charts or in my main Forex watch list, and there is nothing else that I see moving forward. This is what I'm going to be looking for coming into the week, and it's the last week of the year, so there could be some really crazy price action. Make sure you use stops. Make sure you wait for your setups to come to you. And I'll see you in the chat. Please like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time.